Very conversational. Don't stress.
No, okay.
So Rachel, welcome to the Systemise and Scale podcast. And you said you would never do video, and now you're doing one for 45 minutes.
Fuck my life. Did you get that?
They're already recording. I know. What was the trigger to make you want to go self-employed then?
There wasn't. That's the thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, so at that point I didn't feel like I could take a maternity leave, so I didn't. I did a mortgage from my hospital bed. Lucas came into the office in a sling at a week old. I was broken, but I didn't know it.
How did you feel doing that at the time? Knowing what you know now,
Yeah,
what would you have done differently now?
that's really hard because at the time...
Wow. So you've gone through a journey now. How has the business kind of evolved, and how has it grown between where you were in, say, 2019 or 2020 and then where it kind of is now as we close out on 2025?
I mean, it's night and day. It's absolutely night and day. I think my written business for the year for 2019 was something like 56. Then 2020 finished just under 90, and we'd only been working together for 6 months. And immediately I was like, look at the difference. That's wild to think that you could do that, or that I could do that. Anyway, 2021, we got it up to 114, somewhere around there. And then some things happened in my life.
Welcome to another episode of Scaling Stories. Today we are with Rachael Panteney, who has said for many years she would never do video, but has gone on a huge, I would say, personal and business development journey.
Yeah.
Has now got lots of social media content, has now done YouTube videos, has now built her business, saved a huge amount of hours, and this is long overdue, mate.
You think?
I think so.
You think people want to hear?
100%. The trials, the tribulations, the good, the bad, the ugly. Rachel gets on rants and has no holds barred. So I can't promise what's going to be discussed today, but I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. So
Try and behave.
no, I don't. It's about fun when you don't behave. Give people a bit of an idea listening to this. Where are you? What's business like now?
Busy. So we are, for Wealth, we're fully at capacity. I'm taking bookings for February, March. For context, this is December. And I really worried about that. I thought people would not book in, and they have. They're happy to wait. They've seen our reviews, they've seen our website, they've been recommended. So that's really great. I've got a mortgage and protection advisor who now does that. I don't do mortgages at all, which is such a dream. And yeah, when we've got an admin, which is just the backbone of our office and keeps us all going. So yeah, it's just a team of 3.
Yeah.
We're busy, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's Rachel's hours like?
So I am part-time. It's about 29 hours a week. I work around school pickups. I work around school holidays. I do occasionally dip in on a Saturday morning, which I never said I would do, but my son does an activity for 3 hours on a Saturday morning, which is right next to the office. So I drop him, go and get some stuff done in the peace and quiet, and then go back and get him. So that's fine, it works. So I'm all right with that. But yeah.
How about, because you don't work half terms, or try not to?
No, so half terms off. Easter, I might work a couple of days, and in the summer I think I worked what amounted to like 2.5 weeks of the summer, so it's all right.
Yeah. So compare that to, say, Carl and Alex, who are obviously a much bigger business, have got big growth, even Antonio, much bigger growth and all that. How would you compare yourself in your own words to them? Are you a lifestyle business owner? What's that kind of?
No, definitely lifestyle.
Yeah.
Once I leave the office, I've left. There's no working on a laptop at home. I'm not interested in that. I split my focus. If I'm at home, I'm focused on home. If I'm at work, I'm focused on work. And that's the way I like to do it. So yeah, I don't really do anything connected to work in the evenings. I won't go on socials, anything like that. It's a definite line. I have to have those boundaries. Otherwise, my focus gets split and I can't do a good job in either place. So yeah, I find it really helped me to do that.
Yeah. And that's really interesting, because I know that's even something I challenge and struggle with, not picking up the phone or anything else. So how have you managed to do that, by the way? How do you create that boundary? Because you know what it's like as well, and maybe you experienced it in your early years, but especially when you're first starting out, you feel like if you don't get back to a client within 2 minutes, they're going to go and get a mortgage from somebody else. And if you don't be at their beck and call, has it always been like that, or is that a skill that you've learned?
I think because when I was employed, that was very office based, and office hours. So when I started on my own, I did just keep that. I don't give out my mobile number to clients. The very, very rare few clients have got a mobile number that might have either been referred by somebody I knew personally or someone I met at networking. So not many people have my mobile number, which I think goes a long, long way to breaking that.
Yeah.
But also I noticed probably around 2022, my mental health was really poor. And I was spending a lot of time on socials in the evening, trying to engage, trying to do stuff. And, it's like you end up seeing stuff you don't want to see. And I just found it really demoralizing and I just thought, this has got to stop. So that's sort of the steps I took. But yeah, not having, I don't have the emails or anything like that on my phone. So I can whip out the laptop if I want to.
Yeah.
But I don't want to, because what am I going to do? If I read something, then I'll want to deal with it and then it will spiral. So ignorance is bliss.
I totally wish I could do that, because sometimes I've read an email at like 9:30 and then my brain is spiraling and then I'm at 12:30, I'm still awake and I'm feeling like I need to respond and I can't because it needs to be the next day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Or you need to go and
How
phone somebody else or deal with something. So it's very rare that even if I read something, I could answer it and deal with it in the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't.
Amazing. So just delete everything off your phone, only have it on your laptop.
Yeah.
And then you physically got to be in working hours or get your laptop out to do it.
Yeah.
Hack number 1.
Yeah. Yeah, it works for holidays as well. I don't, I take my laptop on holiday, but I won't turn it on unless I get a WhatsApp from the office to tell me to do so. So my laptop has come on some lovely holidays and only seen the inside of a safe.
Nice.
Because it's travelled there and it has returned back again. I think the best one was going to America for 2.5 weeks. I didn't need to touch my laptop. My team are brilliant and I think that helps.
Yeah.
But also my clients are fairly well educated. They know the hours we work. They know that we're all part-time. We all work around our families. That doesn't mean we're not committed in the moment, but it also means we have other priorities outside just as they do. So they're more than welcome to message into us at a time that suits them and we will respond at a time that suits us. So I think that helps as well. It's just the clients understanding who we are as a team.
Yeah. And
they know that when we say one of us is out of office, they are out of office. That's it. That's can't think of the word that I want to use, like Sancroset. No, that's probably not it. But anyway,
separation, something like that.
Just protected.
Yeah.
My team are entitled to time off. Yeah. I'm entitled to time off.
So be it.
So be it, yeah.
I love that. And we say this quite a lot, it's like be more Rachael inside our community, because you are that harsh and that direct, but it works so well. And I remember you said there, do you remember I did my little test where I went away and I left my laptop in and I got it out once because I had to pay everybody on the 28th.
Yeah.
But I came back to so many emails, things that I had to dive through, even though there was a redirect to say, look, contact Zoe in this instance and Camilla at the time in this business. Like, how do you deal with, do you just literally come home and go, oh, I've got 200 emails from the last 2 weeks, delete?
No. So,
or do you spend hours going through them?
Not hours. There'll be a first pass through, which is lender nonsense, provider nonsense. I could write the first pass through, delete everything that's not relevant, and then go back through. But again, the team have access to my inbox. So any client will have been responded to. And Hayley leaves them in my inbox for me to see, but I can see where she's either forwarded it to herself or replied to the client, so I can see what's been dealt with. So actually the first thing we do is we have a bit of a meeting when I come back. It's all right, catch me up. Let's talk about everyone and everything. We'll go through everything in order. And so straight away I can go, right, this person emailed in. Normally what happens is Hayley says, yeah, I've left that there for you to see, but I've dealt with it. They needed this. It's been dealt with. It's happened. You can move that to wherever you want to. I just wanted you to see it.
Yeah.
So actually, there's not normally that much from the emails that I need to deal with, but equally, Hayley will then have these are your urgent jobs. These are the things that people are maybe, can't wait for, or we need to look at. So again, I come back to a fairly organised structure and day one back in the office is always fully booked out for that reason. There's no appointments, there's no anything. And we do quite often tell clients I'll be back later than I am. So that day, even people aren't phoning in asking to talk to me because they know I'm back. They think I'm back the next day.
Yeah.
So again, we have that time to do it, but it comes back to team.
Yeah, 100%. And Hayley is the young son hero behind the sines.
Oh my God, absolutely. Could not do this without her. She's been with me since the very beginning. And half of my success is because she takes so much on her shoulders that I then don't have to think about.
Yeah.
So yeah. Brilliant.
Nice. So you mentioned there back to the beginning. So right now, team of 3, we've got Willow, the dog.
Yeah.
Mascot, team mascot.
Team mascot.
You've obviously got a wife, you're a mother, you've got 3 people on your team, an admin, a legend in Hayley, your mortgage and insurance advisor. You focus on the wealth. 29 hours per week, all of half terms off. You're booked out for 2 months yourself. You're not fearful. But it hasn't always been that way.
I don't know that we say I'm not fearful. I don't know that the fear ever goes away. I feel like every decision I've made in the business has been driven by fear. Either because I've been too scared to do something, or I felt really sick and have messaged you going, don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. Please don't make me do it. And then you make me do it. And then I'm really pleased that I did it. But the fear is always there. Let's never pretend that it's not.
Yeah. But I think that's a really key thing as well. You know, we were saying this yesterday, that someone put that video into the WhatsApp group. Yes. And it was obviously you'll feel the fear and
it's the cringe. It will be cringy.
That's it.
Yeah, if you've got 2 followers and you do a video, it will be super cringy. Yes, it was. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But it grows. And I think, again, like coming back to videos where I said I wouldn't do videos, I can't push post. Even now, I can't push post. Someone has scheduled it for me. Yeah, if I push post, I immediately feel sick. It's so again, what don't I like about that? I'll remove it.
Yeah.
All my content is scheduled, so I just see it, and then I'm like, oh, it exists. It's out there. I can't do anything about that now.
Yeah.
And I'm really chill about it. But actually having to
do
post
physical
things,
post.
Yeah. Especially when I've been a bit more direct on my posts as well. I always worry about how they'll be received.
Or when you do your Halloween.
Yeah. I mean, that's a throwback from COVID times.
I know, but it still works.
Just trot it out once a year.
But yeah, that's the thing I was going to say with regard to that little cringe video I did. It's like, if you're not pushing your comfort zone and doing things that scare you, make you feel a little bit sick, then that's why your business is stagnating or in the same position year after year, because you do have to push those comfort zones. So you said you started off employed. What was the trigger to make you want to go self-employed then?
There wasn't. That's the thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I started off my advising career at Fox & Sons, so part of the Connells Group, as many people do.
I was Connells.
Yeah, that's it. We all have the same baseline training. And from there I got headhunted to a local independent firm. Mm-hmm. And I went there because the owner had some other business interests, wasn't ready to give up the mortgage brokerage, but just wanted someone to manage their book. So that was quite a nice low pressure job, because the message was, do a good job and you'll be rewarded. But I didn't actually have any targets, which is quite controversial, I think.
Yeah.
And my job was to just manage the existing book, obviously grow and get new business in, but I wasn't targeted to do so, just from the reputation that I had. They knew that I would. So that was quite good. That was 2007. So 2008 to 2010 were obviously interesting times in the mortgage world. And we were quite heavily in adverse as well. So that just disappeared.
I never knew that. And that was literally me up until 2019.
Yeah. Well, up until, from 2007 to 2008 and a half.
Yeah.
You know, heavily in adverse. And then overnight, just nothing. And we were scraping by on the existing client book we had that was more vanilla.
Yeah.
And then I said, right, this is not going well. I'd really still like a job, please. So what about if I go and get qualified? And he said, yeah, that's a great idea. So I went and did the certificate in financial advice, but at the same time I was doing that, they brought out the diploma and gave it the 2012 deadline and RDR. Yeah. And so I suddenly found that all my training was halted, because then I had to wait and sort of start again to do it as a diploma path.
Yeah.
So eventually qualified just early 2013. But at that point, I was then more qualified than my employer. Mm-hmm. And the network were not so happy with that. They were quite happy that I could be wealth as well as mortgage, but I needed somebody else to supervise me. So we joined forces with another company who were part of the same network, who would do my supervision and training.
Yeah.
They then went DA, and we sort of followed them and became a trading style. But they were potentially a little bit rogue. And so there were some things that I was learning, and I was thinking, I don't know that this is right. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard when you're the junior to raise that. And there was a lot going on at the time around SIPs and unregulated investments. And the more I was learning, the more I was thinking that I did not want to be even remotely associated with this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I went to my boss and I was like, we need to leave. This is not, it's not good for you. It's not good for me. It's not good for our clients. We just need to leave. And he was like, yeah, I don't think I can be bothered. And I was like, okay. He's like, no, by that, I will support you. He's like, there's no point me having any part of it anymore. I haven't spoken to a client since I took you on in 2007. These are now your clients. You've been dealing with them for 7 years. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, so I'll let you just hand your notice into the network and or to that company through a trading style of them, and good luck. I literally went home. I was like, I appear to be unemployed / a business owner now. I don't know what I'm doing. Completely didn't know what I was doing. So messaged a few networks and was like, who can take me on? Because I still felt as a financial advisor very inexperienced, and that I needed a lot of support. And the annoying thing is that the people that took me on and said yes, sold me a great thing of what you can do and how we'll support you, was Sesame.
Yeah. Great.
Joined Sesame. It took quite a while to be authorised by the FCA because of my links to the other company who were going through then investigations. So we did jump ship at the right time. And there was they had to do a lot of extra checks to make sure that I wasn't associated in any way. And then I got accepted by Sesame, and then 4 months later they said, we're selling all the wealth advisors to Intrinsic. I was like, oh man. So I had to then be reauthorised. So it was such a start, if that makes sense. It took, I think it was about 10 months from me saying, yes, I will do this, to actually then being authorised under Intrinsic and being able to go out and do stuff. And in the interim, I was just using another couple of advisors that I knew who were submitting my business for me, or speaking to the clients and submitting my business for me, and just paying me a little bit. But that was a hairy time.
Yeah.
Luckily, Hayley had a baby. So she was on maternity leave. So it was great. So she came back 1 day a week, pretty much when I opened, which worked out really, really well.
How did you meet Hayley? Was she involved in the same company?
She was a mortgage
in there as well.
company. Yeah, so she'd been there since 2005.
Yeah. So she came from the employed to then go into the self-employed with you.
Yes.
Touch.
Yeah.
There's a proper baptism of fire, but equally, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. That's it. So we muddled along together for a couple of years. And then I had a baby, which was hard because at that point I didn't feel like I could take a maternity leave. Mm-hmm. So I didn't. So I did a mortgage. So this is complete contrast, by the way, to what we've just said. I did a mortgage from my hospital bed. Lucas came into the office in a sling at a week old, and I used to just take him to the office. He'd either be in a sling or I rent my office from a firm of accountants who are utterly lovely, and I would take him upstairs and they would keep him for an hour. He just got passed around everybody. He had a lovely time. They had a lovely time. I had 5 minutes to myself. But yeah, until he was old enough to start nursery, and then he started nursery at 4 months old, 2 mornings a week, and great support from my mum. My mum's brilliant. Yeah. So she had him another day a week. So that gave me like 1 full day and 2 half days that I could do without him.
Yeah. How did you feel doing that at the time?
You don't know. You don't know how much stress you're under while you're in it. At the time, I was like, I'm doing this. I'm bossing this. We can have it all. I had a child who didn't sleep at all. At his absolute worst, he slept in 20-minute batches. We later found out it's because he was allergic to dairy, but when I punted that, I was told, no, he's not. So we didn't actually get that cleared up till he was about 6 months old. Yeah. But no, he didn't sleep through the night till he was 2.5. I was broken, but I didn't know it. I was just push all the time. Yeah. Thinking, well, this is hard, but of course it's hard because everybody else I know is on a maternity leave. They're not trying to work at the same time. Those that have gone back to work, well, when they've gone back to work, they also then don't have their child with them. So they've got that separation. Yeah. So I'm not saying that I had it harder than everybody else because everyone has different challenges. But for me, I didn't know how sort of stressed I was and how just fully overwhelmed I was. It had a horrible impact on my marriage. Yeah. Because I was not a nice person at all. There's just no give in anything because I was so taken up that I could have just snapped at any moment. So yeah.
Knowing what you know now,
yeah,
what would you have done differently now?
That's really hard because at the time, I don't know how my business would have then kept going. Yep. If I'd have just taken time off, and obviously had obligations to Hayley. I had an employed staff member. I can't just say, see you in 9 months. By the way, there's no money to pay you. So yeah, I mean, and that was a thing. We tried for a baby for a long time. So I'd got to the point where I thought, it wasn't happening. Yeah. So I'd sort of spent actually what I'd put aside for savings. I'd gone on a lovely holiday, and we had some loss along the way. So then I had some nice holidays to get over that. So yeah, my cushion that I'd put aside for it, I just accepted that it wasn't happening, so I didn't need that anymore. Yeah. And then it did, and
you muddled through and made it work, as so many mums do.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah. Just it's like the Dory, isn't it? Just keep swimming. Just keep going. Just don't stop.
Forward.
Just don't stop. Yeah. True. Yeah.
Yeah. And what year was it when Lucas was born?
End of 2017.
So 2017. Okay.
So 2018 was a real difficult year. Yeah. And it showed on my numbers. My numbers were down from the previous year, obviously. Yeah. And sort of was at that point of like, right, okay, once he'd got to nursery, we had a bit more of a schedule and we knew what we were doing. I was like, okay, right, now I can look at this properly again and actually stop surviving and start working. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would have been end of 2018, hardest year ever. Mm-hmm. And then what kind of happened after that?
2019 was a good year for how we'd been the previous year. Again, I was only doing 2.5 days, maybe. Not even that, I don't think. Yeah. Hayley was doing 2 days, I think, at that point. So again, we were muddling through, but making it work. Yeah. And then end of 2019, I did a personal development coaching that I saw, and I learned a lot in that time. But also what I learned in that time is that I was a shitty business owner. And that was when I was like, right, okay, so I've dealt with some personal stuff and I feel ready now. Now I need to look at the business and look at what I can do here, because this is not okay. Yep. We're just surviving, and I know we can do better than that. So, yeah, that was just going through lockdown. I was doing that in the May, March, April time. So yeah, it was the May that I was like, okay, I can now start looking at something. And some bloke popped up on Instagram. I don't know, Facebook. It would have been Facebook.
Facebook
actually.
originally.
Yeah. And at the time, I thought maybe I won't do financial advice. Maybe I'll move into financial coaching.
Yeah.
Because what I really liked about financial coaching was it's very in the moment, but when the session is done, there's no extra work. Whereas with wealth and mortgages, you see the client and then there's all the work to do.
Yeah.
So financial coaching really spoke to me. And so I was at that time stalking a lady called Catherine Morgan, and I saw that she posted that she was speaking at a financial summit that was being held online. So I was like, well, I'll just watch that. And I bought my ticket, went to the whole day. You were hosting it. There was lots of different speakers. I feel it's only fair to mention you were not my first choice. Only because...
Tell me that now after 5 years.
No, you know this. I signed up with Spencer first. Do you remember?
Yeah.
That?
I know Spencer really well, though.
Yes.
So,
well, what I did, I signed up with Spencer Lodge first, but he had a 7-day trial. And then I sort of watched some of his videos and went to one of his, and I just thought, this is not the fit. This is not going to be right.
Yeah.
So left him. After his 7 days, which I'm sure he was heartbroken and devastated about, and then joined your Pro Academy on Facebook.
The first one.
Yeah. Which was every Tuesday morning.
It was.
Facebook Live.
Yeah.
So we couldn't even talk properly.
Yeah.
It was just everything was typed questions in the chat. There was a community. But it was a great community, actually. And there was a lot of support in there, a lot of things to do. And then, so we went through the training on that. And then after about 3 months, I was like, this is good. I can do better. And then that's when I went to the group, small group with you.
Yeah, we went to, that was Pro Elite.
Yes.
Was when we did that. And that was more in person and on Zoom.
No, that was still Zoom. Because that was
Zoom.
end of 2020.
That was as we hit COVID lockdowns.
Second lockdowns.
Yeah.
And it was it every quarter? They were long sessions, man. They were 3-hour Zooms. I remember doing them from the garden shed because I was shielding. So I had to do them from the garden shed because I couldn't do them from the office.
Yeah.
I could not leave the house. Yeah.
So you said there, which really resonates with me, because in 2015, after building the almost 7-figure insurance brokerage that I hated, I realised that I was the problem. And I found Tony Robbins and NLP, and NLP was the first course I did in 2016. And then I did my first business course in the March of 2016, which obviously Joy and Emma were part of, and that kind of side. So it's really interesting that the personal side, but then that led you to overcome those challenges to then go into the business side. So you said, which is quite a big umbrella term, you felt like a crap business owner. What were 3 things that you felt you needed most amount of help with, or your 3 biggest challenges at that time?
So we were purely reactive.
Yeah.
If someone contacted us, hooray! There was nothing. There was no advertising. There was no socials. There was no anything really. I mean, Christ knows how we did as well as we did. Just sitting there waiting for the phone to ring. I mean, how awful is that? But it was very different. It was very pre the social media side of things.
Yeah.
Or certainly that I had seen. So yeah, definitely far too reactive. The age old in the business, not on the business. I wasn't doing a thing to push the business forward every day in the trenches, partly because obviously from a time perspective, that's all I could do until I sort of came out the other side. What's the third? I mean, I'm sure there's a massive list. I think it's more, again, an attitude and a imposter syndrome and a, can I really go and say this is what I do? I still felt quite inexperienced. I hadn't had, obviously the clients that I dealt with very confidently, and I knew I'd done that right. But I was like, but there's so many other things I haven't done So how do I then better myself to be able to do that? How do I deal with that when that comes along? So yeah, I'd say those three.
Yeah. And you had a baptism of fire, but you equally had, I don't want to call it a lucky start, but it was almost in some degrees, because you had a client bank you'd been working as an employee that you inherited. So you were very good.
Albeit they were all adverse and we haven't spoken to them for 4 years. Yes.
Yeah. But you were very good in the business, really good at doing the advising. But because you had that break and that back book that you inherited, it meant you hadn't done anything proactively to really drive your leads, drive your appointments, drive
very different to a lot of people when they start and they go, right, I'm self-employed. Where's my customers? Where are they? Where am I getting clients from? I had deals that were rolling over, clients at the end of remos and stuff like that. But that's really what we built it from. Yeah. And I think at one point at its lowest, I think we were doing like 4 mortgages a month. Yeah. And then we were like, well, this business has been good. Yeah. Now, but at the time, it's like, this is good. People are still coming. They're still happy to use us, even though because again, we changed names like 3 times in very quick succession. And obviously it was very much my previous boss's business and it was all him. So to then not lose him and still have people that effectively were his clients still be happy to use us, it felt, really, really grateful actually that had happened.
Yeah. So 2019 we met. God, those Facebook Lives.
2020.
Yeah, 2020. Yeah. 2019 though, I think, was when we did the Financial Pro Summit in the Facebook group. Was it not? Was it 2020 as well? Oh, it would have been, because it was COVID lockdown. Yeah. It was COVID lockdown.
Yeah, May 2020.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that as well. A whole day on a Facebook group. I've still got the group open for that, actually.
I'm trying to think who else was speaking, because it was Spencer.
There was Emma Mills, Spencer, Catherine Morgan, me. I did a couple.
There was someone.
There was someone else as well, but I can't think who.
No.
But yeah, we had like 1,000 people across the course of that day for that event.
It was a really good day. I do remember.
I had no idea what I was doing. But
and also I do remember thinking at one point, I did not bring lunch. And then really being like, well, there's no time to go and get lunch. And it went on till like 6 p.m. and I was ready to eat my arm at the end of it, just being so hungry, but I was like, I'm not moving, I'm not leaving. Yeah. And there were breaks, but they weren't long enough for me to go to the shop across the road. So, yeah.
I remember being in lockdown. I was the only one in my office, running it all from my office on my own. It's carnage. But hey, these things, you live and learn and make them work.
Yeah, boy, it did work.
Yeah.
And I did actually work with Catherine later. I still did the financial coaching qualification and then realised that it was not for me.
Yeah, well, I did the same qualification and realised it wasn't for me either. So, yeah. Obviously I like Catherine loads.
She's great.
So 2022 is when it happened. We were in the course of COVID lockdown years. You knew your pains and challenges that you wanted to overcome and sort of come across. What's been the year by year kind of journey since that point then? What are some of the biggest things you've done? What's had the biggest change? What are some of the challenges? Well, we'll come back to challenges. We'll do the good first.
Yeah, okay. So I think aside from video, the other next thing that I think we did was to take on an apprentice to free up some tasks from Hayley so that I could then free up some more tasks to go to Hayley. So it was like this, passing on maybe the £5 tasks so I could pass on the £10 tasks. Yeah. So we did that and I had him through to the May. So I had him September to May, but he was not suited is the nicest way I can think of saying that. He's done really well now, though.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And we're still in touch. So even though I sacked him, we're still friends, which is nice. It was, I think, time chunking was one of the biggest things that we did.
Structuring your days, yeah.
Yes. But also then going through and working out what are the actual processes, because we didn't have a process. Each client had a slightly different experience. And so it was learning that that's not okay. We have to follow the journey. Really silly little things. Again, looking back, when I was like, I can't believe we didn't do them. But having templated emails and all of this stuff that you were teaching us at the time. And I was like, oh, this is revolutionary. But I hadn't landed on it on my own. Some people watching this might think, how do I get through life? But I hadn't, these are just small things, but small incremental things that then make a massive, massive difference to how the business runs. What else did we do? I took on someone for socials who I still work with. Camilla, she's awesome. It's just I can't remember specifically now because we've covered so much. So how to say what we did then?
Yeah.
But it was working through, because that was the Kajabi portal.
Yeah.
So again, working through each lessons.
Yeah.
Implementing them, putting them into place, and then being like, right, okay, so we've done that. Now let's do this. And it's so incremental. There wasn't a big standout thing that you can say, yeah, that's it. That's the thing that changed it. It's just moving the needle every single month, just by a little bit, to make the changes in the business that then show what it's like.
Do you think a lot of people, because you've obviously met a lot of advisors now, you've been with me for years. We did 2 years in person between 2022 and 2024.
Yeah.
And you obviously stayed the course of that as well. Do you think that's where people potentially go wrong, is looking for the big, I've done this and it's made this huge impact, whereas actually the small things that you do consistently over time have such a compounding effect, like they do in financial advice or like they do in investing? Yeah. Is that the mindset you've taken? Is that where you've seen people? Where do you think people
100%.
have gone wrong?
I think a lot of people, like you say, they're looking for the quick wins.
Yeah.
They're looking for, I'll come in, I'll do this, that will change it all. And everyone wants the magic answer. And there's no magic answer, because we're all different and all our businesses are different and all our clients are different and our niches are different. See, niche. Ha. I didn't have a niche for 4 years. So I think that it is that mindset, or saying, well, if I can do this, I can double my turnover. And I think for a lot of people, doubling something that's already semi-successful is actually really, really hard to do in a short space of time.
Yep.
Because if you've got to a certain point, you're already doing a lot of things well. You just need to do a lot of things better.
Yeah.
So there's always improvements to be made in every single area. I don't think there's any area of the business you can stand there and look at and go, yeah, fucking nailed that. Like, it's not. There's always something better that you can do with it. And sometimes it is understanding that we might repeat something that we've done before, but then I'll go back at it with fresh eyes and be like, yeah, actually, that did work. That took it from there, made it better. But now these changes will make it better again. And so you can't just stand still. You have to keep doing it and revisiting it and rechecking it to keep those growths going. But also something else I'm really bad at, so I'm hoping other people are as well, is I do something and I go, yeah, that's working. That's really working. So what do? I stop. And then I have to be reminded to do it again, which is another reason why this all helps to come around and revisit it. Because I'm like, yeah, well, why did I stop doing that? And the answer is I stopped doing that because something new and shiny came along and I focused on that. And I think that's somewhere or something that other people get wrong as well. Yeah. I think that's really common, shiny penny syndrome. Yeah. Like, I'm going to work on this area. This is what I'm doing. All focus, all in. Ooh. And we all do it.
Definitely, 100%. It's always, I think it's the business that I've learned over the last 20 years is just doing the basics better.
Yes.
You know, and actually you can tweak them and you can improve them. And occasionally there might be something in the industry or something that's happened, like there's been a big remortgage bump or more people, there's more baby boomers at the moment or whatever, and they're seasonal things. But the foundations don't fundamentally change. You almost build that in as a bit of a campaign along the way. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, there'll always be different things to focus on. And I think, interestingly, the last 5 years have been the most turbulent in financial services ever.
Yeah.
Obviously you take in the various lockdowns and then stamp duty holidays and property prices going mental. And then at the same time, the stock market's not doing so well. And then Liz Truss came along and fucked everything. And then, well, slightly before that, you had the Russia-Ukraine conflict. I mean, you can plot it out. When I look at the investment returns, you can plot out absolutely each of these events. It's like a flashlight on them. They are just really spotlighted. So it's really easy to see that. And you forget now, going back, I remember getting to the end of the stamp duty holiday and just being like, we did it. Like, everyone completed when they were supposed to complete by. We've done it. Excellent. And then there was no breathing time because I think the next crisis then started. So it is really easy to be caught up in what is happening out there and the noise. But if you just focus on what you are doing and make sure you are doing it, each of those steps that we talk about, you're doing them in the right order and keeping true to the processes, then you can deal with everything else. You just got to keep everything stable and not give up on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So you've gone through a journey now. How has the business kind of evolved and how has it grown between where you were in, say, 2019 or 2020 and then where it kind of is now as we close out on 2025?
Yeah, well, in terms of sort of the business that we're writing, it's night and day. It's absolutely night and day. So pre-GD, I think my written business for the year for 2019 was something like 56, which I was really bloody proud of. So proud of. And then we started working together and you made me do, right, your targets, like what's really great, what's your target? But then what's the next target? And what's the next target after that? And if I go back and look at my notebooks, I eclipsed the target that I thought was an absolute blooming pipe dream in 2023. So that's wild to think that you can do that, or that I could do that anyway. If someone else had done it, I'd probably be like, yeah, well done you. You've worked really hard for that. Can I do that? No, that's not for me. You know, there's always that inner voice talking it down. So yeah, just then 2020 finished just under 90. And we'd only been working together for 6 months. And immediately I was like, look at the difference. If I can do this, then think what else I can do. So 2021, we got it up to 114, somewhere around there. And then some things happened in my life, which obviously you know about. My husband had a major health issue and the world kind of stopped for a bit, where you have to deal with the crisis that's in front of you. And yes, I was still going to work and yes, I was still putting in the motions, but you can't think of the pushing. You've just got to deal. So, you've just got to deal with what you can, and sort of think, okay, well, maybe that's not as important as I was making it be. What are the changes I need to do? What can we change? So again, I needed to be, there's a running joke that I don't work very much. I had to work a bit less at that point. But equally still try and keep the momentum growing. And I'm really proud of that year because we still grew, just not by much, but we didn't go backwards. And that I was really, really proud of. So now... And
that was the year you retired him as well, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had to sort of make a decision and say, right, you're not going back to the job that you do now. That's not sustainable. So he's not fully retired. He's got an Airbnb, and he does a few bits and pieces here and there, keeps his hand in, keeps him out of trouble. But yeah, to all intents and purposes, he's not
doing the job he was doing before.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the business grew. You were able to afford to stop him, take him out of a job that you didn't really enjoy as well.
Yeah.
And obviously change family circumstances.
Because I more than doubled my income.
Yeah.
Which again is crazy to think that in the space of 18 months, I'd done that. Like doubled what the business was doing, doubled my personal income, so that actually, if we lost an income over there, it was all right. We could still get by. So then that coincided with my son going to school. And it is really interesting when you look back and like all the peaks and troughs of the business have all been punctured by the personal, definitely. And then that was when I was like, right, this is it. I'm going to be at the school gate. I'm going to take the holidays off. Yes, my husband is around to do some of the drop-offs and pickups as well, but I still wanted to be part of that. I didn't want to not know what was going on. I didn't want to not know the teachers or the other parents. So again, it comes down to the commitment that I made to myself and to my family that work is brilliant, but I think where I'm quite different is it's not the be all and end all. I know that a lot of the people that we work with work really, really hard because they're so focused on growing it to this monumental point. And it was never about that for me. This is just about doing enough, like doing enough to have the lifestyle that I want. And yes, there'll always be, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we could go on that bigger holiday or all of those sorts of things. But I'm not striving for that in the same way. I want my business to do well because I want to succeed at everything that I do. So I always want to do the best that I can, but it's never about hitting this goal. I'm not going to be a 1 million, well, it's not active for 5 years, but I'm not going to be, I don't think, a £1 million a year business. But equally, I'm okay with that. Yeah. Because I don't want the stresses and strains that come with that. I don't want to be tied to my laptop. When I don't know, if it's a choice between doing work and doing phonics, I might choose work. Sometimes that's hideous. But I think that it is making sure that my family has the best of me, as well as the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I went off topic there.
Not at all. I think that's one of the biggest things I've taken from you as well in my whole shift, obviously losing mum in 2022. It's your view has always been business is a marathon, and your focus on the lifestyle every year and then build the business around that lifestyle, which is why you have the boundaries that you do. And that's been a big shift I've made in the last 3 years, is for the same reasons, is, 4 kids under 13. I want to see them grow up and all that kind of stuff. And while we do have the clients that absolutely want to push, run, sprint too much sometimes, in my opinion, we do little mini sprints when the time's right. But actually, you can balance and you will build £1 million business whilst maintaining that lifestyle. Because if you get the right people in the right seats and everybody's aligned to the same goals, it becomes really, really important and possible to do.
Yeah.
So on that journey then, before we kind of come to a close, I've got a few quick fire ones for you. What do you think you said time chunking, you said putting in processes, removing some of the repeatable tasks in relation to some of the email sort of templates, stuff like that. What do you think are some of the things that you've really struggled with but overcome, say, over the last 5 years? And doing video, we know. Standing on stage.
Yeah, yes. Holding workshops. I didn't think I'd ever do that. Yeah, see, I forget about stuff like that as well. I forget that I was never doing that. It wasn't, you were like, host a webinar. I was like, no. I still haven't hosted a webinar, it's important to say, but I've gone into workplaces. I've hosted talks for charities where we've supported the members in different financial aspects. So I didn't think I would ever do that. But biggest changes.
What about from working as the advisor in the business with just you and Hayley to now having that more of a business owner mindset? How do you allocate your time towards being on the business and in the business?
So that for me has always been a time element. So when we have our sessions on a Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon is then on the business time. So again, it's just straightforward. It's out of my diary. It's done because I'm sort of in that mindset already. So then it's really easy for me to say, right, from this morning, what am I doing? Or equally, what is left on the to-do list from our events or from like the lessons in the gym or whatever, what is on the to-do list that I can pick up this afternoon to do?
Yeah.
I think it's just making sure that you have that time. And I'm not perfect. There have been times where I've gone, Jesus Christ, don't like push that aside and get on with the important email and stuff like that. But I still think even if I miss a day or miss an afternoon, I know that I've got next week. And I know that I do it more times than I don't do it. So it is a bit of a cop-out because I know everyone always says, oh, well, I'll just move it today. But making sure that you are doing it sometimes is better than not doing it anytime.
Yeah.
We'll never be perfect. But if we can be 80%, then that's
a win, 100%. Yeah. And obviously you inherited a client bank. You're now doing, your videos, you're doing your social media, you're doing talks, you built more of a localized brand as a bit more of a niche.
Yeah.
Where do most of your leads come from now?
A lot are still referral, which, but equally from, again, we've taken on so many clients over the last 3 years that has compounded out. Need to be working my way around the bowls club, which is quite nice. Some quite a few sets of clients from the golf club. There's also an employer where I have seen like 5 or 6 different people from there now. So again, one person at work talks to one person at work. So again, like, I feel like I'm insidiously creeping into places. Yeah. The socials do well, but I think they are still more of a business card. When someone says, can you recommend on Facebook, someone says, can you recommend so-and-so? My name is always there a lot, which is great. You know, obviously my clients are fantastic for doing that. But then equally, when they go to the page and see it, then the socials give you a really good taste of me and what the business is about and how we help. Yeah. So I think as well, that's the way to do it rather than, you know,
it's part of the ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's marketing. It's an ecosystem. When someone hears your name, the first thing they're going to do is Google you. They're going to look you up on TikTok or Instagram or wherever. And it just forms as part of that authority, trust, and brand building.
We perform really well on Google as well. And I think that's the reviews that feed in. We do a weekly blog. Our website is really nice. I can't take any of the credit for it, but our website is great. And that is, again, what people say when they phone in. I Googled you. I saw your website. We'd like to book in. Yeah. There's a waiting list. Yeah, fine. Yeah. So again, even from those very small touches that they've had along the way, that's enough to say that they're still happy to wait and work with us, which is really nice because it means when people come in for that appointment, you're not fighting on the, are they going to use me? Who else am I competing against? It's as long as I don't mess this up, this is okay. Yeah. You know I can help them. All I've got to do is tell them that I know I can help them and show them that. And then that's it. They're our clients then. So that's good. Yeah.
And we always talk about in the community with you that you get a lot of referrals and recommendations because you have the holistic approach.
Don't leave a stone unturned.
Exactly. You maximise the value from a sales perspective and a business perspective. You maximise the value of every client. You follow up on every opportunity. But equally, you're doing the right thing for the client by doing that as well. You know, it fits in with consumer duty and all the other things that we have to do. But where did that mindset come from, and how do you prioritise, you know, the pensions, the investments, the mortgage, the wealth, the insurances, and all the ancillaries around it?
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot.
And how do you do it without overkilling the person, you know?
Yeah. No, it is a lot, but I think it comes back to doing a really good fact find. And my process, again, it's different to maybe a lot of people, where we'll have a call where I get to know them first of all, and then I say, can you fill in the fact find, which is just your personal information. But then I'll have a follow-up call about the fact find, which is purely, tell me about, how did you get into, what made you do this? Where did this come from? How was this set up? Tell me the story. So I'm asking questions all the time. You just need to be really bloody nosy, actually. And when you're going through, opportunities just present themselves. I mean, sometimes they just literally like stand up and wave at you like, woo, woo. Like when they say, oh, well, yeah, pensions. Yeah, I've got 5. Don't really know what they are. Oh, sounds like we need to build in a pension review. Oh, could you? That would be great. It was done. Yeah. The same with protection. It's, you know, tell me about the policies you've got. And then when you talk about the policies you've got, okay, well, what was your mindset when you took that out? Why did you do that? What was that doing? Is that still doing that job? If they don't have it, oh, interesting. Why did you choose not to take that out? There's always another question you can ask. And so you just, as you're going through the fact find, it's just laid out in such a way that you naturally talk about all of these things. Even, you know, like you say, the GI, buildings and contents, is the most boring thing. But just, you know, oh, how do you sort that out? And sometimes it'd be, well, that's, you know, the company that I took the mortgage out, or that's just my bank, or that's wherever. And you're like, great, okay. So, oh, you've given me the renewal date. That's great. We'll be in touch. That's it. You just gets added to a list and follow them up, and that's it. You don't have to bombard people, but if you ask them enough questions around it, you will generally uncover an issue or a problem or a question. So if you can solve that, then that's great. And it just builds into everything else that you're doing.
Yeah. And why? Because you sell a lot of protections to people who don't necessarily take the mortgage straight away as well, you know, and then they come back to you for the mortgage later.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Why do you do that? Where do most people go wrong with it?
So for us, again, it's about talking to the people and at the stage that they're at, and especially if they're saying, oh, we're just getting started out, we've started to save our deposit, but we don't have quite enough and all of that. Okay, well, how did you build up that deposit? Well, it's through earned income. Okay, but what happens if your earned income goes away? You know, either you've got some sick pay or you haven't, but either way, it's sort of immaterial. It's normally just a case of, that's great. However, because you say to them, well, actually, if you were off sick, you wouldn't want to then erode your deposit to cover you through that time. You're still going to want to buy your home. So how about we protect your income that protects your deposit? And then the same again, if you're going through the process, just because you, again, you know, there's also, we've all got the stories, but one of my clients was diagnosed with MS, and it's like, right, well, that's going to pay out now forever. So you don't ever have to worry about that mortgage, because that is paying out until your state pension, which is when you would have stopped work anyway and when the mortgage would have been repaid by. So you can still have your home that you wanted and build the life that you wanted. Just because something really shitty has happened to you, let's not burn down all of your dreams. And so I think as soon as you get one, it really reinforces it to you that is the case. So we want to do that. The same with people with like family income benefit. Okay, great. You want to go on and buy somewhere together. Well, what happens if one of you doesn't make it? Yeah. You know, how can we cover that lost income into the household? These are really easy, no pressure, very simple sales. You're just asking them questions about their vulnerabilities. They realise they've got a vulnerability and are grateful that you fix that vulnerability. It doesn't need to be any more complex than that. I don't know why people make it more complex than that. It just is. And you know you've done the right thing for that client. There's no sale there. Yes, we get paid, but you don't do it because you get paid for it. You do it because that is the right thing to do. Imagine setting someone up with 150 grand's worth of debt and then just being like, ha, good luck to you. Like, what sort of wanker would you have to be?
Yeah.
But I know that some people find protection uncomfortable, but it doesn't have to be. You just ask them the question, and 9 times out of 10,
takes care of itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think it's a knowledge gap that means because most of the industry don't sell protection, they don't do it well. Obviously, it comes up in the community quite a lot and all that side. But do you think it's a knowledge gap? Do you think it's a fear? Do you think it's not allocating enough time?
It's all
a combination of all of it.
Absolutely.
As I was saying it, I'm like, it's basically all of it.
Yeah. And I think it depends on the background that you have as well.
Yeah.
Certainly from a target perspective, when I first started out at Fox & Sons, it was really heavily targeted. So you did it because you had to. But then again, you do the job for long enough and you know people that have had claims, and that is it. If you are an advisor that hasn't had one of your clients claim, I don't think you can properly understand the difference that it makes. Yeah. Or someone in your life personally that you know who has claimed. That's the bit that connects. And if it doesn't connect, you are dead inside.
Yeah.
But that's when you see the difference that it makes, and how it saved. And there was another time where I had to have a conversation with someone who said, I need to claim on my critical illness cover. And I was like, you didn't take it. And they cried and I cried and we all cried. And it was awful. And I was like, and that was really early on. So like, I'm not having this again. This is horrible. You know, now they've got to worry about money on top of everything else. Not on my watch.
Yeah.
That's not happening. So I think that the more you do it, the more you understand how important it is because you see the impact of it. But yeah, I just think if you're not doing it, it's really, you have to question why. And is it because you can't be bothered? Or is it because you feel like you don't know enough? Or is it because you're too busy? And if it's all of those three things, you need to really take a long, hard look at yourself, because you could be really fucking up people's lives. And that sounds dramatic, but it could be. When you have the power to make the difference, why would you half-ass a job?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I see it. If it's a knowledge thing, it can be fixed. You just have to accept that and make the time for it. But ultimately, there's no reason why people shouldn't be doing it. Everything else is absolutely lovely. You know, your solicitor referrals and your GI and everything else that you do. But if you've got people's money in your hands and you are not protecting it, then you're not doing a proper job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. It's a lot of what we talk about inside SAS and everything anyway, isn't it? So, okay. And over the years, you've been in financial services since 2007. Obviously, one of the things that I'm really passionate about, you know, as a dad of two girls and a husband and sisters and mum, etc., you know, is this industry is very male dominated, always has been.
Yes.
I'm always talking about to the team and stuff, trying to increase the number of ladies in our community. And off of the back of a post the other week, you know, I think the industry average is like 18%. We're 22.5%. What's it like for all the other ladies watching, in particular, being a woman in financial services in such a, I think it's 60-40 is the general, well, it wouldn't be. If it's 18%, then it's more like 82% to 18%. So what's it like?
I would say, I think it's very different now.
Yeah.
If we go back to when I was doing the diploma, it was very old boys club. Like, absolutely. Men in suits who were actually, I remember going to an event and being asked whose administrator I was. I was like, no, I'm here on my own, you know, under my own steam. Thank you very much. I'm just as qualified. But the assumption was that, and it's, you know, I was younger then, but, you know, if you were there as support staff.
Yeah.
You were not there because you were the advisor. And, you know, I've been places where I've been the only woman in the room. And there's a lot, you know, I've got a lot of female advisor connections, and there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of stories about being belittled, about being talked over, about not being taken seriously, about actually, you know, being given the shit clients because you won't do, you know, a good enough job as a man would do. All of those things that I've seen. And there's also been some really uncomfortable stories as well. I myself was assaulted by a client, and when I raised it, I was told not to make a fuss.
Wow.
Because that is the level of toxicity that you get. A client was very handsy, thought it was their right to be.
When was that, roughly?
Around about 2009.
Wow, I don't think I would have not been able to do something about it even then. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was about then. And it was just, don't make a fuss, he's a really big client.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah, that's...
So, and that is an extreme, but equally, like some of the people I know, they've worked in really, really toxic bullying environments, where that was a one-off event, which obviously was awful.
Yeah.
But it was just that, it was the one-off, whereas I can't imagine being in that environment day in, day out, where you are made to feel in that way. But I think it definitely has got a lot better. And I think that a lot of the more older boys club, they did exit in 2013 when the diploma
MRR,
came out.
Yeah.
The RDR was enough for them to go, do you know what, I'm not doing some more exams. And I think that did the industry a huge favour. Because those that stuck around were a bit more committed. Yeah. And, you know, maybe a bit more decent. And definitely, you know, since I've had the company, then because you go representing your company, then it's a bit more. And again, I go to a regular thing, so part of the Quilter Network now. I can't think what she's called, BDM, risk manager, whatever she is. She does regular meetings once a quarter, and the room is 50-50.
Nice.
And I don't know whether that's because she is female, or how it pans out. But that's a really great room to be in as well. There's a lot, really good people in there that I respect and admire, and I'm happy to learn from. And the same as your community. I mean, I said the other day when I messaged you, when you were saying about females, I think that there's nobody in our community that I think would treat anybody in that way. So that helps. There's a lot of good eggs out there, and I don't want to be like, ugh. But there's definitely been some lows that I just don't think a man would have to deal with. In the same way.
What do you think one thing that the industry could do next year to improve the industry for women?
I mean, it starts in schools. There's a whole thing about girls in STEM, isn't there? It's just that... Well, actually, I did a careers fair last year, and we had our stall set up with lots of different competitions and games for the kids to do. But we had an awful lot of girls, and several teachers from the schools came over to say how pleased they were to see their girls at our stall talking to women in finance, to see that actually it was a possibility. And it's just about being more visible. The more visible we are, the more they can see that is an option. Admittedly, I fell into it. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I went to work in a bank, and then from a bank I just went on. So I don't know that it was a deliberate choice on my part to be in this profession, but yeah, I think it's got to start in schools. Mm-hmm. Girl math just pisses me off. It's not scary to deal with finance or to get into this sort of industry. But I think that, that's where it's got to start, really, because otherwise I think by the time, and I don't know if you see it, but you still see it quite a lot, where the female half of a partnership sort of defers to the man quite a lot, which riles me a little bit. But you do still see that. There's still, very patriarchal society that we have. So... it's again baby steps. But
so it's more outside of financial services needs to be fixed, and that will have the knock-on impact to in financial services.
Because I think now we're a good 13 years on from RDR, and a lot of the dinosaurs have retired out.
I remember in 2005, the new firm that I built to 100 grand a month doing adverse credit for somebody else. The first conference he did was in March of 2005. He had a performance car and 5 bikini-clad ladies. And that was the industry back then. But it wasn't. Looking back now, it's obviously so entirely wrong, and that would never happen. No. But back then, it was celebrated, and it was so out there, and everyone was like, "Wow!" and blah blah blah. And it's just, obviously the world shifted and changed substantially.
Yeah, and I think that does help that. Culturally, it's not the same. The lads' mags have disappeared, and all of that sort of stuff has really helped move away from. That as a status symbol. I mean, now I still think you can possibly spot, someone that thinks they're doing well. But, it's not quite the same, like you say, in terms of models and hangers-on. Yeah.
If there is any woman or lady listening to this that, looks at me, this is going to sound really douchebaggy, but as an alpha male, I don't know, I'm a man's man, I think is probably one of the things you could easily say, or anything else. People will be put off by potentially that energy or anything else, but I think I'm quite good. As I say, I'm the youngest of 4 kids, and I'm really close to my sister and my mum. So I was basically raised by women anyway, because my brothers are old enough to be my uncles, So if there was someone here who's on the fence or fearful because they see me or socials or anything else, just out of interest, what would you say to them about being part of SAS and the community, and I think the safe environment that we do have?
This is hard to say, because I think that if somebody is unsure about joining a male-led group, that is potentially more on them than it is on you.
Yeah.
Because you're a teddy bear. You know, you are. And actually, from an emotional point of view, the support that you have given me, you know, you're never afraid to give a hug when it's needed. You're never afraid to sit and listen to an emotion-fueled rant and then go, okay, did you just need to rant, or can I fix this? You know, what can we do to try and move it forward? So there isn't that toxic energy that's there. There's no talking over you to say, you know, this is what you should be doing. You don't do that with any of your clients. It is a case of, this is your business. I'm here to help you grow it. What do you need from me to do that? So, and I, you know, I think that is the best way of describing it. It's not, I don't necessarily like it when people are advertising for women, because I think that creates the divide in and of itself.
I hear you.
But I think if anyone is concerned or wants to know more, they can reach out to me. They can reach out to any of the other female members. I'm sure any would, or even Anna, behind the scenes. I mean, we've got to say that, you know, for every strong man, there's a brilliant woman behind him. And that is absolutely the case with Anna. So, you know, she is there propping us all up, getting you where you should be when you should be, and just pulling everything together. So, yeah, it's not, I wouldn't say, you know, you might say you're a man's man, but actually you're not from that point of view.
No.
In that toxic.
To be fair, I've always got along better with women than I have men anyway.
Well, there you go. You just have gym chat.
Yeah.
Gym chat's the men.
Okay, cool. Now, I was intrigued from a personal perspective, not necessarily as a testimonial as well. I was just intrigued to see what you're going to say, because I've never asked you the question before.
Yeah.
So is there anything you think we haven't discussed that would be really useful for the watchers or the listeners about either your journey or the challenges that you faced, something you think they could do that might move the needle for them? Don't worry if there isn't, but...
No, the biggest thing is having a community, having a coach, having people that can cheer for you when you do well, that when something's not going so badly, they can say, we hear you. Either we've been there and it sucks, or this is how we can fix it, or even just just the support and the empathy that comes in. That makes the biggest difference. And as I said before, you're not looking for the next big win. You're looking for, how can I just get incrementally better on each area that I do?
Okay, so cool. I've really enjoyed this chat. I've learned a few things that I didn't know before as well.
Oh, well, there you go.
So that's really good. I have no idea that we both did adverse credit. So maybe I did, but I didn't.
I hated it, so I don't do it now.
Yeah. No chance.
No.
Too much stress.
Yeah.
But as I say, I think you are the counterbalance to a lot of people that we meet within the community. You've helped me to kind of slow down and focus on lifestyle, because I always see the chalk and the cheese between the two types of people that we have in the group. But you're one of the ones that we always reference in the group, because you're so consistent, because you prioritize the clients as well as obviously the protection and the products and the sales. Your journey's been absolutely fantastic. What are you, 6-7x over the course of the last 5 years, whilst working less, whilst prioritizing lifestyle. And yeah, if I could have another 10 Rachels, it'd be amazing. But what's coming for you next year?
Next year.
What do you want to achieve?
So I just want to be able to, it's going to sound really cheesy, I just want to help more clients.
Yeah.
Because again, we definitely make a difference in what we do. So if I can do some more of that without having to increase my hours. I did also say, like, something to add in as a bit of a goal, is to take more time off, which will make people laugh. But what I really want, what I really want is some time for me.
Yeah.
So when I'm not at work, it's because I'm focusing from the family side. But actually what I'd like is a regular little carve out bit of time just for me.
Rachel's spa day.
Yeah, not even like a whole day, just like some time where nobody needs me and nobody sort of I don't have to think about anybody else. I can just, for a couple of hours, just do. So I need to build that in somehow. But yeah, there's big targets set for next year. If I thought this year was big, next year is bigger.
Yeah, partly Tom Williams' fault.
Partly Tom Williams' fault, yes. But what I've learned from this year is I can do it.
Nice.
And
I've never heard you say that before at the end of a year.
No, I know. That's because, I'm normally quite pleased with how it's gone.
Yeah.
And then gone, I didn't think I'd do this. But actually, from where I was at the start or the first quarter of the year, I was like, I've set my targets too high. I'm never going to do this. It's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And as we speak, with 3 weeks to go, I am £4,000 away from my target. So if it doesn't happen, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Because I'm way closer than I ever thought I would be. So, there's no reason why next year we can't do more.
Can't do that. Mm-hmm. Build a bit more team, get more time.
Yes.
And job done.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much indeed for taking the time out, coming to the office. We now have some mapping out 2026 and systems and various other little bits to do for...
Yeah, you're going to break it.
...the next couple of hours. I'm not going to break it. I'm going to improve it, Rachel. So, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. You'll find, obviously, Rachael on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on various different channels. She will reply during office hours if you're lucky. If you're lucky. But just thank you so much for being part of the community. Thank you for trusting me and staying the course and being such an advocate for everybody else in the community as well and supporting them and giving them a kick up the arse when they whinge about protection. Because we need Rachel's in the group. And you just bring so much passion and energy, and I love working with you. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you very much. It's been a blast.
There you go.
On a bit, isn't it?
I know, 16. Forget the 40 minutes. I was enjoying it, so I was like, fuck this, I'm not stopping it. Yeah. I was just like, fuck the time, I'm having fun. Sometimes you're on them and you're like, oh no, this needs to end really, really soon. You nailed that.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
Whoa.
Were you nervous?
Yes.
It didn't come across.
I'm quite warm.
Shall we
open the door? Open the door. Open the door.
I'm never warm.